2 years ago, the Indiana Hoosiers were going in and having to hire a head coach once again. The Tom Allen era had failed again. Your seventh season being the IU head coach, obviously nothing went great. What changed? What changed going into a season like that where you go 3-9, you suffer your third straight season of having a losing record? What do? You go out and you hire Curt Cignetti. Curt Cignetti is the biggest reason why you are in the situation you are in today. Why you are playing for a national championship now. The fact that you don't really get out and go get big names from the portal. That you go out and you get guys that were primarily role players throughout the season, and you bring them to Bloomington, Indiana, and what do? They produce. They create chaos. They make big plays. They lead in 2 seasons a team that was pretty much ready to get rid of their program. And now 2 years later let me see when the day was. Well, before that, they hire Curt Cignetti from James Madison. November 30th, 2023 is when he was hired. He says, "I win. Google me." He does. And you know what happened? They won. November 30th, 2023 was the greatest move that Indiana has ever made. And 2 years and 2 months later, almost 2 months later, they beat the living shit out of the Oregon Ducks and are going to play for a national championship and an undefeated season. Something that they would have never thought, something that you and I would have never seen coming in the long history of college football. Have we ever seen a meteoric rise in college football as we've seen from IU? Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen. This is our instant reaction to the Indiana Hoosiers beating the living dog shit out of the Oregon Ducks with a 56-21 victory, or 22 victory over Dan Lanning and company. And we'll get into the game a good bit. We'll kind of give you a slight preview of Miami and Indiana as they prepare to play for a national championship. We will take live phone calls. 843-350-2534 is the number to call if you guys want to get involved in the show. Real fast, every post-game show brought to you by our good friends at Frost Buddy. Going over to frostbuddy.com. Use the promo code SSS15 to get 15% off of your first purchase. Also going over to Chike Nutrition with 20 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and 1 gram of net fat. You are going to get the best available iced coffee on the market for a very reasonable price and a very reasonable cost. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys go on ahead and get on over to our good, or not Frost. Frost Buddy has all the cups. I'm thinking of our guys at Chike Nutrition. But go on over to Frost Buddy. Use our code SSS15 to get 15% off of your first purchase on all things cups, tumblers, etc. Chike Nutrition. Get yourself the best iced protein in coffee. 20 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, 1 gram of fat to get yourself in the best shape possible for the start of 2026. All right, let's go through the play-by-play of this football game. Guys, we got a lot to discuss tonight as we are going. I may be live all night. Not even going to lie to you, babe. Not even going to lie to you, my man. I'm just going to be real with you. I'm just here keeping it a stack with y'all. We're going to be live all damn night. Baby. We are struggling trying to go live on the X account for myself, but that is okay. I'm not worried about that. We're live on Inside Carolina, and we are live on YouTube as well. So I want you guys to do me a favor. Y'all go ahead and go on over to YouTube. Make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit the like, share, and subscribe if you're watching us. Turn on the bell notifications so that you're notified every time we go live and every time we post a new video here on the YouTube channel. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this video real fast. All right. You know what we always do every single post-game show? We always get into the play-by-play. Oregon gets the football to start the game off. And immediately things go awry. You have a bad read from Dante Moore. And by the way, we'll get into Dante Moore a little bit tonight. I did not think Dante Moore played his best game at all. In 2 games against Indiana, this is what Dante Moore has looked like. And was I overly impressed with Dante Moore this year? I thought he showed signs of being a very, very good quarterback. But again, how is he faring against stiff competition? Completion percentage looks good, but in the 2 games that he's played, he has 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and he's gotten sacked 9 times. He's only been sacked 14 times in the regular season, or 14 times all season long. Dante Moore has taken 9 sacks just from Indiana alone. Just from Indiana alone, man. In 2 games where Oregon has played in Atlanta, they have been outscored, by the way. And I think they got outscored against Georgia as well in that first game too, didn't they? Yeah, they lost 49-3 against Georgia. That first game, which was that was a bloodbath to say the least. They have been outscored 105-25 in 2 games in Atlanta. Not that that matters, but it's just a nice little side statistic. Let's get into the game. The first play, you kind of empty it out a little bit, and I'm watching it right now. Your receiver's going to run an out route, but D'Angelo Pons, the All-American, reads this play the entire way, reads Dante Moore's eyes, sinks down from his break, cuts the split to the boundary and outside leverage, gets help and helps out in the window for the slant. And when you have no zip on the football too, when you're not getting the football out in front of your guy's hands, and it's, by the way, it's a bad throw too. It's a bit behind. That allows for that DB to get there, and he gets an easy pick, and it's a house call for D'Angelo Pons on the first play of the game. This game was lost by the very first offensive snap for Oregon. The turnovers have absolutely killed the Ducks' drives. Killed the drives. In the first matchup, when we talked about this earlier a couple weeks ago, when we talked about this game and what we were going to be able to see, we told you that Indiana was going to find ways to put Dante Moore in press, to get Dante Moore uncomfortable in the pocket. They forced two turnovers in the first game. They forced 3 tonight. 3 turnovers. That will not win you a damn football game. So, how does Oregon respond? They have a nice drive. Really would be their only nice drive of the game. This was your chance to get the running game involved, and for the most part, I thought you did fine in establishing yourself in that department. D'Air Hill has a 4-yard gain. D'Air Hill had to play. He was the third string back. Because Oregon right now is down their top 2 backs. One of them's in the portal. The other one is hurt. Like legitimately hurt. And did that hurt Oregon at the end of the day? Probably so. Regardless, you had to split between Jay Harris and D'Air Hill. I thought D'Air Hill had some decent carries, but obviously he got the bulk of his yardage in the second half off the long run. Oregon at times has struggled to establish themselves in the run game. And when you're going up against a front 4 that has done a really good job at putting pressure on quarterbacks all season long, they did a great job in the first game. They shut down Ohio State in the Big Ten title. When they get to Julian saying what? 5 times. They get to Julian saying 5 times. They get to Ty Simpson last week 3 times. And then they got you 3 more times tonight. Daniel Ndukwe had a massive game. You have guys like Isaiah Jones that's in the backfield a lot. Aiden Fisher, D'Angelo Pons, like we talked about. Elijah Hardy, that has had a really good season. Tyreek Tucker. We've talked about him a good bit throughout the season. He's been one of the more dominant defensive linemen in the Big Ten. He could be a top 50 draft pick in 2027. But Oregon establishes the run game regardless. Jay Harris would run for 7. Dante Moore gets Jay Harris out of the backfield and gets 12. You're mixing it up and you're going quick. You're getting the football out of your hands and getting it out into space. That's what Oregon has needed to do from the jump, and they did that early on. Jay Harris for 3. Incompletion trying to go to Jamari Johnson. Malik Benson, by the way, was a non-factor in this football game. Dante Moore to Malik Benson. He had one of his 2 catches on the first drive of the game. Jay Harris for 3. Jay Harris for 4. Jay Harris is complete. Dante Moore on 3rd and 3. Gets it to Jay Harris at the backfield. First down. Dante Moore scrambles and gets 6. Kenyon Sadiq for 5. Jay Harris for 2. 2 plays later, Dante Moore finds Jamari Johnson in the middle of the end zone, 19 yards out, touchdown. Really good drive, really good answer from Oregon. But this is what Indiana has done all year long when they go on drives like this. They run the clock down. They play. Look, they play exactly how Miami played last night. They're meticulous with driving the football down the field. They will strike when need be, and they know how to answer. When they take a shot down the field, they're going to see ball, and they're going to deliver. Fernando Mendoza did not have a high passing yard game. He didn't need to. Everything was in front of him, and he let his playmakers work. He made good throws down the stretch, and that's what benefits, that's what separates a quarterback from being a mediocre type of guy that's taking too many shots down the field, that is risky, to just being a conservative guy and, being all over the place. The one thing that I have noticed with Fernando Mendoza is that he's consistent. And that's all that matters to me when I'm evaluating a guy like that. That's why I think he's the number 1 pick going into 2026 draft. Roman Hemby rushes for 1. Elijah Surratt for 5. 3rd and 4. Goes back, throws an incredible back shoulder for throw to Eli Surratt with Ife Obigdewu, who has had a pretty decent freshman year, but they were going to target him most of the game. Ife Uwadegu was a guy that I thought would get kind of picked on a good bit throughout the game, and he sure did. Roman Hemby runs for 4. There is a false start, so you got to back it up 5. Wouldn't matter because this run game of Indiana is dominant. Kalen Black runs for 7. And on 3rd and 4, you go out to Riley Nowakowski, which, by the way, I said that he would be an X factor in this football game as well. He was going to be a guy that I thought was going to make a lot of plays down the stretch. He's a guy that I was very, very confident in when we previewed this on Monday's show. Kalen Black for 6. Roman Hemby goes right up the middle for 12. Roman Hemby busts one up for 11. Roman Hemby for 2. Who gets blown up in the backfield for a loss of 2, Then on 2nd and goal, Fernando Mendoza on a little, not really a rub route, but it gets to the point where the safety has to go over because the inside high corner goes to take away the slant across the middle. That leaves Omar Cooper one-on-one with a safety, and he has an easy read. And it was a tough throw for Fernando Mendoza to make because there's not a lot of room in that corner, but he's able to get it out of his hands quick, and it turns into a touchdown. Oregon gets it right back. Jay Harris runs for 4. They try to go to Jay Harris again. I don't know why Will Stein decided to go on 3rd and 2 and run on 3rd. Why did they run on 3rd and 2? I get that Jay Harris is picking up quality yards, but guys, you gotta mix it up. He gets blown up in the backfield by Kamara and Isaiah Jones again, and they got to punt the football. We'll get to the rest of the drive when I come back. I got to go use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Next drive. Indiana, 7 plays, 25 yards, by the way. Kalen Black gets stuffed in the middle by Dylan Thieneman. Dylan Thieneman played a really good game tonight. He really did. Kalen Black for 2. Fernando Mendoza is able to get to the sideline, step up in the pocket, and get 21. Kalen Black for 4. There's a block below the waist, and it ends up being a first down. Indiana on the move again. Roman Hemby runs for 3. Fernando Mendoza trying to go left, but it's broken up by Blake Bocher. And there's another really bad play. Fernando Mendoza has a bad snap, has to go all the way back to the 47, and then Fernando Mendoza ends up recovering it and has to take a sack. So now they bounce out of field goal range. They got to punt the football. But this is an opportunity for Oregon, despite them being at the 13-yard, at their own 13. What happens? Miscommunication between the back and Dante Moore. There's a bad throw. It's fumbled in the air. And Mario Landino has a fumble recovery. And just like that, Indiana has it at the 3-yard line. You cannot have turnovers like that at that part of the field. You're going to get beat. If you have turnovers like that, guys, you cannot. And I say this with such enthusiasm. You cannot have turnovers like this. It is unfathomable that you have plays that you ultimately piss on. You can't have that, man. Cannot have it. Look, man, I got to be real with you. And many of you are not going to like this take, but when I say it, you'll understand. There is no way, shape, or form that I can put a guy like Dante Moore in the NFL draft right now. When you're having first-round quarterbacks do not have plays like that. You cannot. Whether you like it or not, you have to be honest and you have to be completely unbiased when you look at a couple of plays that you saw. That was one of those. That right there lost you the game. You lost it on the first play, but that one basically sealed it. When you have a horrible read where you just freaking lose the damn ball, where the RPO, it's an RPO. The back gets contact with the ball. That's miscommunication, guys. That is on nobody else but the communication between back and quarterback. Plays like that cannot happen. It just happened. Indiana does that. 3 plays later, Kalen Black gets a touchdown, 21-7. I didn't think that the game would have gotten out of control until the very next couple drives. Jay Harris gets shut down in the backfield. Dante Moore to Jay Harris for 15 yards. Guys, you're getting Jay Harris the football, and he's making a lot of really good decisions with how he moves up the field. He ended up with 3 catches for 32 yards, For some reason, that was his last time touching the football on the receiving end. Jay Harris for 7. 2nd and 3. Dante Moore drops back, holds onto the football too long. Dominique Ratcliffe gets a sack. 3rd and 12. Dials up pressure. The first one was on Dante Moore with the first sack. The second one was just a complete lapse in protection. They brought late pressure, and Daniel Ndukwe is able to get there and bring him to the turf. They got to punt the football. 21-7, by the way. Fernando Mendoza to Roman Hemby gets shut down for nothing. Elijah Surratt for 7. Omar Cooper for 7. Fernando Mendoza in the back corner of the end zone with a beautiful football to Charlie Becker from 36 yards out, touchdown. That right there is when I tweeted out and I said that this game is about to get out of hand. Very quickly did that game get out of hand. This is about to be an ass whipping. Should have been an ass whipping the first time. And look, I thought Indiana made up for lost opportunities with running the football, or with wasted possessions, I should say. Continuing on. Are you joining the stream or not? I did on Twitter. It's okay. It's okay. We got some friends coming in the stream in just a minute. All right. Beautiful throw from him. Just a really, really good throw. Next play. Hill runs for 4. Dante Moore getting pressured again. Daniel Ndukwe gets sacked once again. Gets a sack once again. And who else? But Dante Moore fumbling the damn football. Indiana recovers, and once again, they have a short field. I got to look at the fumble real fast because that was a really, really bad fumble. That was worse than I thought. It's a really good ball where only Charlie Becker can catch that. Look, all I got to say is Dante Moore was holding on to the football way too long. So now they get it at the Oregon 21. Fernando Mendoza runs for 2. Kalen Black for 5. There's the 2-minute timeout. Fernando Mendoza to D'Angelo Pons, who gets involved in the passing game. Pretty interesting there. There's a timeout taken by Oregon. Roman Hemby rushes for 7. Roman Hemby gets shut down at the 1-yard line. Fernando Mendoza to Elijah Surratt on the screen, and he gets into the end zone, breaks the plane, easy touchdown. Easy touchdown. Hey, buddy. Your mic is muted. Okay, 1 second. Okay. We got Scout, aka Southern Charm Sports, joining our stream now. Scout, for some reason, okay, we are good. We got the thumbs up from him.
Hello. Are we good?
You like the new
Hello?
setup? I put my webcam up,
Yes.
and I just figured I'd put some other BS behind it. I got to get a bigger backdrop though.
Pretty solid.
So,
Pretty solid though.
what did you think of the game?
I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. It wasn't a great game, but it showed how Indiana has been the entire off season, the entire season. The only team that has beaten Oregon was Indiana, and it still is Indiana. So I think that's also pretty a pretty good statement of where they are as a program as well. Um, so yeah, so oh my God, I've given the same. I don't.
Your lighting is so much better than mine, bro. It's ridiculous.
My what?
Your lighting. I need an O-ring.
It's not even an O-ring. It's just a flat ring.
Anyways. Here's what I said earlier in the show, and you can agree or disagree with you, whatever. Dante Moore should not be entering the NFL draft right now. He's not ready.
I think it's just the hype he's gotten around him, if he does or doesn't. Hold on. I'll literally be 2 seconds. Hold on.
All right.
I had to close the door, but I think it's just the hype, if anything. I don't think that it's, a good or bad thing necessarily. I think he will enter it just because. But
I don't think it'd be a good decision if he did enter, but hey,
all power to him.
Best of luck to him. That's all I'll really say.
Yeah.
But agree or disagree too. This was Oregon's best team to get to a national championship, and now they wasted it.
Maybe best currently, but like I think their window was never this year. I think their window is closer to next year than anything.
So next year is D-Day, or is it 2 years from now that it's D-Day for them?
Now that per se, I have no real idea about. But yeah. Oh, I almost hit a crazy pass to Brian Thomas Jr.
Are you
but it got
playing
deflected.
college football 26 right now?
No, I'm playing in a Madden league right now because the guy was
Oh.
like, "Hey, I know we just advanced, but I can't play." And I hate simming in this because whenever you sim in Madden, it just goes like all your players get like they act like they all played 100 snaps or something. So the next games are always so much more difficult for no
Right.
reason.
How's my Wi-Fi? Am I cutting in and out or no?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. Because we've been having that Wi-Fi issues. I'm literally on my hotspot right now. Last drive before the half for Oregon. Dante Moore goes to Jace McClellan.
Yeah.
Did I say that name right?
Yes.
I thought Jace McClellan did fine. Or Jeremiah McClellan, excuse me. That was a depleted Oregon receiving core, man. That was an injured team throughout the entirety of the season. When you have a guy like Evan Stewart that missed all of this year, you have so many guys that had a lot of hype around him in the preseason. There was a lot of weapons that didn't play tonight, and Oregon was on their third string back playing tonight. So could that be a reason why it was such a blowout compared to what it was in the regular season? Sure, but I do think that Indiana team is just complete. Dante Moore to Malik Benson for 14. There's an incompletion, but there's a holding on Isaiah World. Isaiah World struggled tonight.
Yeah, big time.
Dante Moore to Johnson, to Jamari Johnson. Dante Moore to D. Hill for 13. Jamari Johnson for 20 across the middle. They spike the football. They're in a great position to get a field goal, and Sappington hits it off the upright, and it's no good. So first half comes to an end, and by the way, Scout, when did you think that this game was going to get ugly?
Um, the first play, I mean, like the first play from actual scrimmage, you throw a pick, you already have you already drop down mathematically to a 10% drop in, win percentage. Um, so, I mean, hold up. Let's go! He made a mistake, finally. Jesus, the guy had 4 drives and 4 scores, and he finally threw a ball up that was pickable. Um, but you can't have countless mistakes without without anything to show for it. Like, oh my God. They had a ton of chances early on in the game. Like they had there was a couple third downs that were, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7 that, you don't convert, you have to punt. And I think when you simply aren't converting those and the other team simply is, that it turns into a really tough outing really fast. So, but I think overall the game plan for uh game plan for Indiana, they didn't have to get away from that at all. Versus the game plan for Oregon, I think completely flipped on its head by the time they were done with it. So
First drive of the second half, Indiana has a false start. Really
yeah,
wouldn't matter. Roman Hemby runs for 2. Fernando Mendoza to Elijah Surratt for 16.
yeah, that
Roman
was
Hemby
crazy.
for 1. What did you say?
That was crazy. Because it was like he dropped it in a bucket, like just oof.
How many
Damn.
times did Fernando Mendoza throw a back shoulder or throw near the sideline and it was perfectly placed?
Yeah.
Because it was a thing of beauty, dude. I got to be real with you.
Yeah.
So,
I mean that's one of the things that I'm highest on about him. Is that, crazy accuracy, just the crazy accuracy of it all. And I think one thing too, not only is he crazy accurate with football, but also just I'm trying to figure out the best way to state this. Oh, come on, hold up. I'm having to lock in a little bit. But not only is he accurate with football, but his just decision making in general. Like he'll call an audible at the line, and then even Sig will talk about how there's times that he calls an audible that like Sig might not see, but he has that much trust in his quarterback to where he'll just let him do it anyway. So
Roman Hemby runs for 1. Fernando Mendoza throws to Charlie Becker. They went after Brandon Finney a good bit tonight. I was
yeah,
surprised that they challenged him, and Charlie Becker did a really damn good job. That one on the throw to him in the back of the end zone,
yeah,
beautiful football thrown. And Charlie Becker went up and got a moss.
yeah. It's just
Kalen
wild,
Black
man.
Kalen Black runs for 10. Fernando Mendoza gets out of pressure and gets 5. Roman Hemby gets shut down in the backfield for a loss of 2. Fernando Mendoza manages to slip out of a sack, get 18, fumbles the football, and Pat Coogan's able to recover. I thought Pat Coogan could have won another MVP tonight. I thought he played a really damn good job, or played a really damn good game at center.
Yeah, for sure. And also, who was the one that got the fumble recovery? Now that was when you kind of the I think that was also the first drive of the second half. But the fumble recovery was also a big one, where like depending on how that goes, you might not be as forward with your predictions. So
The first fumble was crazy. That was just
yeah,
miscommunication between um, Dante Moore and the running back. You can't have those on that side of the field, especially given Indiana a short field twice in the first half. Roman
yeah,
Hemby runs for 5 the next 2 plays. And then Fernando Mendoza has another great throw to E.J. Williams, 13-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
And I won't bore you with the rest of this. The bottom line is that this Indiana defense got after Oregon all game long.
Yeah.
They take advantage off of turnovers. They got what? What was it? 14 in the first half, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's all right.
No, they had 21 in the first half.
Oh,
They
wow.
had 28 points off of turnovers,
In
4
total.
Oregon turnovers, the pick six, the 2 fumbles, and the turnover on downs.
Yeah, that sounds
In a
right.
game that could have been a lot closer than expected. They win the turnover battle, and they dominate in the time of possession game. That's exactly what Indiana has done all year long. And they win third downs too. They're not going to be flashy with how they throw the football down the field, but they will do a really damn good job at being efficient, and they will be balanced.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line when you look at what Indiana has done this year.
Yeah, 100%. And I think with all things when it comes to Indiana is that they're going to have this, mentality of, hey, we want to make sure that we're the best ball club on the field. And I think they do that just and more than just, hey, like we're going to make sure that we pass really well. They have a really good running game. I don't think people respect that as much because you have a Heisman winner at quarterback, but like their run process, their pass pro, their run pro is incredible. And I think the one issue with well, like when defenses play them is that they have this run game that can get them 6 yards when they want to. So when you finally have, 2, 3 out there or whatever, like something to defend that all of a sudden big run, then you have to deal with everybody else or like you have to deal with a bunch of other stuff. So
Scout, I want to get into a really fast segment that I want to call tripping or spitting. I'm going to ask you something, and then I'm going to ask you if I'm tripping or if I'm spitting with these takes. And these are going to be interesting takes that you and I are going to be discussing. All right.
yeah.
Tripping or spitting. First one. Is 2026 going to be Dan Lanning's last chance to win a national championship with Oregon? You lose Dante Moore.
With Oregon, okay, yeah. I would say so. I would say, well, let me change a championship, conference or regular, or conference or national. I think a lot of schools, especially like in Oregon, I wouldn't say fine with a conference championship, but a conference championship at least shows some form of, like some form of, hey, like we're gonna be here. This is gonna be how we play, so on and so forth, right? Um, so I wouldn't necessarily say that they are vying for, a title quite yet, but they're definitely, God, dude. I hate Madden. I hate Madden with all my heart. But they're definitely gonna be fine with something like that.
I think that this might be next year's last chance for him. Because look, I'm not saying that they're going to be behind in the portal, but you got to get the injury bug settled, man. If this continues to happen and you keep getting showed up in the biggest games, what is that going to say about your program? What is that going to say about when you
Yeah.
play good competition?
Yeah.
They have one win in rematch games in 2 straight years.
Hey, take me off the screen real quick. Hold up.
In 2 games that Oregon has played in rematches, they have gotten blown out back-to-back times. They played IU earlier in the season where it was a 10-point game, but obviously it was one of those games that could have gone Oregon's way if they don't have the turnovers. Many people thought it was a fluke game. Many people thought that it was an opportunity for them to respond following a game like that. I love you. Yeah. Scout's on right now. Jacob Afton says hello. Okay. He's waving hello right now. StreamYard or on YouTube and Twitter. You go watch. Okay, cool. All right, love you. Yes, I would. Bye-bye. Are you good? 1 second. I don't know what the hell he's doing. But in back-to-back games, Oregon has gotten blown out twice. Can you finally put it together? And by the way, I know that you're losing coordinators. Believe me, I get it. Guys, it's hard to replace guys like that. And look, you have got to find a way to retain talent. You have Nike money. I get that. Guys, the rest of the Big Ten is going to leave you behind if you're not able to develop properly. You've done a decent job at times, but when the game matters most, your star power seems to just go away. You better find dudes. That's my opinion. Brandon Finney's coming back to Oregon, I would expect. Let's see what happens with the rest of that roster. Malik Benson is gone. Kenyon Sadiq is probably gone. He's one of the best tight ends in college football. Is probably going to be a first-round pick. DK Moore, hopefully he will be back. A lot of talent, man. I mean, you'd like to see a guy like that back in an Oregon uniform, but we'll see. We'll see. Jamari Johnson, sophomore, the other tight end, had a pretty good game. Will he be back at Oregon next year? What does the running back situation look like for Oregon? I don't know what you're going to see from that team. So there's a lot of, shall we say, wouldn't necessarily say concern, but I will say that there is going to be a lot of questions in regard to where Oregon will be in 2026. So what's next for Oregon? Well, the biggest thing is who are you going to have at quarterback? You should be in the running for a guy like Hassan. Are you good now, or you still need a minute? You're good now? All right, finally.
Yeah, one of my friends just got home, so I was making sure that he was okay.
Oh, nice.
Or like just got home from like a flight, so he was calling me, and I was like, "Are you good?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good." Like, okay.
Well, Will Stein is gone. Tosh Lupoy is gone. So
I will say. So I was out of the loop on the playoffs cycle. Sorry, I took a visit to my grandparents. Hello, shoot me. Anyways, were the coaches at Ole Miss that were there for the first game in the playoffs and not there for the second game of the playoffs?
I think so.
I swear that was a story.
That's
like
what
Colin,
I was. That's like what I noticed.
Yeah. and they mentioned it like on the McAfee show. Or no, it wasn't even Jimbo Fisher was the only one to mention it. And granted, right message, wrong messenger, talking about, you know, taking a big gig job. So
So in the portal, 2026 has to be a priority that you go get a quarterback. It will either be one of two names. It's going to be either Dylan Raiola or it's going to be Hassan Longstreet, the 5-star from USC. I would expect Longstreet to be the guy. He's more of a guy that'll fit on there. Raiola, I think he'll end up a Big 12 quarterback.
yeah,
He may end up at Cincinnati. I'm not even going to lie to you.
uh, I've heard some names. I would not say Cincinnati. I will say that I've heard a bunch of quarterback names at Iowa State. Apparently, Iowa State wants to play some ball with, which I will say, like Ole Miss, Iowa State, well, even in a weird way, Virginia Tech, these schools that are getting like snubbed by bigger schools, by coaches or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like they're getting funding coming in droves. They're getting funding coming in, right? Like Virginia Tech, if they're like top six in the ACC preseason, you know, shoots or whatever, like the media polls, don't be surprised. I really think that now I don't think Iowa State would have that same pull. I don't think Ole Miss has that same pull. But these schools are not going to lay over and be okay with whatever lies after their coach leaves, right? And I don't think Matt Campbell is a, you know, I don't think that's a bad marriage, right? And I even think Utah probably comes to play ball too, with whoever. Have they announced a new coach yet? Utah?
They should have.
2026 Utah.
Yeah, Morgan Scalley, the former
Morgan
defensive
Scott. Is
court.
he like
He's been
is he gonna be the actual one? Because he was
Scalley's
already
been
there,
with
right?
dude. Scalley has been with
Utah.
Utah since '07.
Yeah, he's like
But
essentially he was
so here's what I heard
yeah.
from a Utah source, and I didn't was never told this, but this is what I heard from many other podcasts. They were ready to get rid of Whittington early on so that Scally could take some reps as head coach. They were planning to do that in the preseason or before the if things went awry like it did in 24. Which, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have had an issue with. I like Scally. I think he's a really, really good fit. Somebody that's been with the program all of his career. I mean, come on. He
Yeah.
played under Urban Meyer for 3 years. And correct me if I'm wrong, Whittingham was this defensive coordinator all of his
Yeah.
career.
Yeah.
And then he started working in '06 as an administrative assistant, got promoted to safeties coach, was that for 5 years or for 6 years, gets promoted to special teams coach and recruiting coordinator, then gets promoted up to defensive coordinator for almost 10 seasons, and now he's the full-time head coach.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good hire, and I think it's one of those hires that is going to continue the elevation of where Utah is at and keep dudes out in Salt Lake City. I think it's a really, really good hire, in my opinion. But I think
Yeah, and
to your take on the transfer portal with teams like who did you name again? It was Virginia Tech. It
Virginia Tech,
was
Iowa State, Utah, Ole Miss. That would be like my four to watch. And I understand Iowa State has lost all their players, but the money is coming. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
essentially, I think in a better way. And if people are wondering why I'm looking at this, my camera's up here, and then you're down here. But essentially, you have all these people who are who want the program to stay how it is at the very bare minimum, right? They want Ole Miss to stay as playoff contender. They want Iowa State to stay getting, 9 wins a year, right? Utah, they want them to be a conference contender every year. And then like Virginia Tech, and now they're more of like a retro thing. Like they're like, hey, like we know we can get here.
Mm-hmm.
And they really, and I think honestly, in a weird way, College Football 26, like how they hyped up Enter Sandman, I think like that also like benefited the idea of like Virginia Tech, like, hey, like remember we used to be a thing, right? Um, and they still have one of the best atmospheres in college football and all that, but yeah, I do think those four schools are like ones I'm looking at. That's a good Twitter post. Also, fellas,
Uh,
look at the haircut. Oh wait, that's bad. Look at that. Look at that. You like the haircut? Yep. It's the same haircut, but I mean like yeah, I got it fresh today, so
you
it.
changed up the style a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
It's just how it sits on day one. On day two, it'll be back to normal.
Mm,
We need to get you to like shave the sides a little bit. Like, oh, that was a good way. You see that? You can see it. Yeah. Shave the sides a little bit's fine. Because
no,
yours is just straight like you have Lord Farquaad hair, right?
screw you.
Oh my fuck. Don't okay. This should not take more than 15 seconds. Hold on.
You're about to make me go get a freaking hat.
It's a different one.
But I'm gonna tell you exactly who your starting quarterbacks are going to be at Iowa State, at Virginia Tech, at Ole Miss, and you said Iowa State, Virginia Tech, Ole Miss, and who else?
Utah.
Utah. I'm gonna tell you
Basically, look
two.
look to see how they spend money. They should spend
I'm gonna tell
more,
you two of
honestly.
the four starting quarterbacks for 2026 for Ole Miss.
It's Trinidad. Yeah.
If he doesn't get the waiver approved by the
Simmons.
summertime, it's going to be Deuce Knight. And I have a feeling they're gonna sign Deuce Knight anyways.
I think okay, Deuce is a weird one, and here's my like okay, I have people that love Deuce Knight, that know Deuce Knight, that respect Deuce Knight, all that stuff. If Jeff Levy enters the room with him, he's going to Mississippi State. And I know that sounds crazy. I know they already have Kamario Taylor. I
It
know
really
that
look, Scout. It's not really that crazy. You know why?
yeah.
Kamario Taylor's hurt.
Yeah. That's another point I'm adding on to. But like Kamario Taylor, and I hate the idea of like an athletic quarterback not being able to throw the ball, right? And or not being able to gain the ability to throw the ball. But I think like Kamario needs another year to develop that side of his play almost. And like I'm not saying that like this would not heavily take away from how much Kamario Taylor would play in this State, but if you have the idea to bring in Deuce Knight, and I know that he was really high on both Mississippi and Mississippi State um, when he was getting recruited. But the biggest issue was that Ole Miss already had all the quarterbacks, right? And Mississippi State was in shambles for a little bit. But Jeff Lebby has righted the ship on Mississippi State. I'm really hot. Like if I have to pick a dark horse SEC team to really go crazy, it would probably be Mississippi State next year. Especially Kelly Jones coming back, probably in my opinion one of the best cover corners in the league. And he's huge, dude. He's like 6'2" and built, and he can run with everybody. Um, so yeah, so like, and I think there'll be more defense than they are offense next year as well. Um, Granted, I don't think they get. Do they get Fluff again? Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Fluff is a red shirt. I think is going into his junior year, I believe.
Yeah. You know what I need to make, bro? I need to make like a damn, or I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but like an Excel sheet that I can just like tab through all the rosters and like have it, how many years they have left. That's what I need to do.
Right.
Basically have a full roster sheet.
No, I know what you mean. I think
Yeah. It would be so perfect whenever we're talking hypotheticals like this.
that would be helpful. All right, next thing in our tripping or spitting
Okay.
is this Indiana team better if they win the national championship? Is this the greatest team in college football history? Are they better than 2019 LSU?
I think the issue with a lot of these teams is not their team. I think that everyone else sucks to the point that I don't know how much we actually give to this team, right? Like I think that 2019 LSU, the schools they played throughout the season, 2001 Miami too, right? Or like any of the Miami teams, right? Or the Florida team, or the whichever 2012 Alabama. Yeah, the one that beat Alabama or Notre Dame. All those teams, they played all these games. I just don't see the same from Indiana. And then also like the thing that Indiana's two biggest wins are now against a team that they killed in the second time around. Now I do think this is a, top 10 caliber. This is easily, well, I mean like heads and toes the best team in like the last 5 years, right? Easily the best team since that LSU team. But I think another thing as well, this team is much NFL talent on it. They're gonna be more like the Florida team that I just mentioned, where we remember Surratt and everything, but is Surratt gonna be Jamar Chase? Is Surratt gonna be Justin Jefferson, right? Um, so yeah, so I did I don't know. Now if they win in like dominating fashion again, sure. I think we might, if they drop another 50 to 20 victory, I think we might have to give them that nod. Um, but they have to win, obviously, right? You can't have a Boston Bruins situation where you win all these games and you lose them in whatever. Um, but yeah, but overall, yeah, like they're currently the best team of the past 5 years. And I think if they win, we start the discussion. But no, they're definitely not like best talented team. They're not there. But that's Sig's whole thing. That's like Sig's whole thing is that they're not the best talented team, and everybody knows that. And like the funniest thing is like, or Dan needs to like. I'm not saying that Dan Lanning's a bad coach when I say this. Dan Lanning's a fantastic coach. He's probably one of the top 5 coaches, even with this blemish on his record. But Dan Lanning cannot use and he probably doesn't use this, but I know like Pat McAfee was like, oh, he should go into yeah, it's us against the world. You can't use that when you have 41 4 and 5 stars on your team, because I'm not saying that they don't know it, but I'm saying that a lot of these 4 and 5 stars just they don't have the grit. And I know that sounds so crazy, but you'll see these guys are like, oh well, if something goes south, I'm still going to the NFL. Something goes south, I'm gonna hit the transfer portal. Like you don't have that commitment, that loyalty. And I feel like so many people are worried about the regular. I'm so yapping on your show right now, but so many people are worried about like the team loyalty, when loyalty comes from way more than just like am I going to wear the jersey another year? It's giving your all. It's fighting for your brothers, fighting for your coach. Like it's no longer like these kids don't view it. Back in the day, even at the top schools, those kids were like, hey, if Steve Spurrier didn't give me a shot, I probably would have never gotten a shot at that level, which a lot of the ones were. Or even early Nick Saban days, there's a couple guys that were like, if Nick Saban didn't get them, they were only looked at smaller schools, or Missouri or something. Or they were pretty good back then, but whatever, you know what I'm saying? So
I want to read you each of the three teams that I listed and give you some stats from them. 2001 Miami, in five games where they played top 15 opponents. Number 13 Florida State, number 15 Syracuse, number 11 Washington, number 14 Virginia Tech, number 4 Nebraska. They beat them, all three of those teams, by an average of 32.8 points. And
yeah,
that was not with, top tier. Oh, this quarterback had a miraculous season. No disrespect towards Ken Dorsey. He's not a elite quarterback at this level in this era of college football. They have big names.
yeah.
That's the number one thing. 2019
Um,
LSU has big names. 2020 Alabama has big names.
yeah.
Any team, any guy that I see from Indiana right now that I would say is a big time name, I'll be honest with you, it's hard for me to find one other than guys like, Fernando Mendoza, obviously, will be the number one pick. D'Angelo Pons, who's going to be a top 15 pick. Um, Isaiah Jones, who I would say could be a top 100 player. I would say the same thing for guys like Elijah Hardy and Aiden Fisher and Jose
Uh,
Wheeler.
so these are all according to the Herald Times, which this is like the Indiana paper. These are all the ones with a draft grade currently. You have Fernando at a first round, Elijah Surratt at a second round, Carter Smith, the tackle, who's honestly I think will like NFL wise, we Carter Smith probably has the longest career of any of them, unless if Fernando really excels.
No, I would say Pat Coogan would.
I mean, mate, okay, but Coogan doesn't even have a draft grade. Is
You're
he
shitting
even?
me.
Is he eligible?
He
He might
should
not be
be.
eligible. Look at Coogan. Anyways, D'Angelo Pond.
Coogan's a redshirt senior. He
Uh,
should.
well, it does. Michael Nizel. Oh my God, Michael Niz doesn't have him on here. Um, Omar Cooper, Mikhail Kamara, Amari Farrell. I will say their back end has a lot of talent. Like their back end has a lot of like guys that you wouldn't expect. Like Aiden, you said Aiden Fisher, and then Lewis Moore. Um, hold up, Pat. You said Pat Coogan.
Yes.
Yeah, we're looking at Coogan. Oh, I spelled Coogan wrong. Oh yeah, this is the one that was at Notre Dame. Um, Draft grade. Mhm. Yeah, he's projected to be a UDFA. Well, let
You're
me see.
shitting me.
His player comp is Alex Forsyth. Uh,
Why?
so PFF has him at 155 as of January 8th. And then even updated to today, Draft Buzz, Sakima from PFF, and MD Database, or whichever one it is, all have him past 250. Um,
Why?
so he's 6'5", which is good. He's slow. I mean, I don't see how that. I will say, IOL, this draft is so stacked. Like, dude, the top three are Jake Slaughter, who's, in my opinion, the best IOC, whatever.
That I'm not
Uh,
surprised,
yeah,
honestly. I mean,
Jake
he,
Slaughter's a dog, and then you
he,
got Connor Liu from Auburn, who's also a dog, and then you got Parker Brailsford at 3, who's probably the most athletic interior offensive lineman you've ever seen. And then Logan Jones from Iowa, the Oregon center, who's also really good. Like I know they got their ass kicked right then, but Connor Tarlson from Missouri, then Kansas's center, and then Indiana center at 8. So there are 7 centers above him. So he might still get drafted. But in this draft alone, he has a 78. And then there's also 2 centers, the Western Michigan center and Vanderbilt center are like right below him. But um, I mean, and he's ranked the 47th current. And okay. Who was the one I was talking smack over? Uh, Quit breaking my heart. Carter Smith, OT. I'm pretty sure Draft Buzz actually likes Carter Smith better than anybody. Carter Smith, yeah, cool. Yeah, 84.7. Carter Smith is ranked. Quit breaking the 13th. He's a 17th offensive lineman. He's a little small for a tackle. He's also 6'5", but you can move him inside if you want. But
right.
CBS has him at 50. Bleacher has him at 65. MDDB has him at 70, and then PFF and Draft Buzz both have him at 88. So like he's a lot higher viewed, and it's because his pass blocking is like elite. He has the best pass blocking in this class on all of them. Um, Third round projection. Uh, yeah, and he's played 2,500 snaps. Dear Lord. Um, yeah, literally all of his weaknesses are size and speed. That's it.
Pat
His
Coogan's is?
no. The Carter Smith is. Pat
Oh,
Coogan's weaknesses are overextended when reaching in space. Redirect. He struggles to redirect quick twitch interior rushers. Hand placement can get wide against longer armed defenders, allowing them to get into his chest. Shows some stiffness and recovery when beaten initially, lacking the lateral agility. Occasionally lapses in leverage to lead to getting uprooted. But also, like, okay, I will say the crazy thing, you know, like the old, who's the one that works for Marshall now? Uh, Kadick, whatever, right?
Mike Caddick,
Kadick, yeah, Kadick could have been in the NFL,
he
right?
should have.
Kadick is a dog, right? The man can backstep 30 yards if he wanted to, but he's not, right? So it's so stupid. Plus, like all these guys, like imagine saying you've taken 2,400 snaps as a center or as an offensive tackle, right? Like how many more snaps do you really want, unless if you're getting paid the big bucks? So, I think that is all for me, gentlemen.
Um,
Are you free Sunday?
am I free Sunday? What time on Sunday?
We can figure it out.
It would
Sunday
have to be
night-ish.
before. It would have to be before 4.
Oh, fuck. Never mind. We can do it
Like,
tomorrow night if I'm free. I
I'll be
just want
free
to get
tomorrow
into
night.
recording.
Couple more of tripping or spitting. Should the portal focus more on? Well, I should say this. Is it time to just get rid of the portal? It will not really get rid of it. Should we just focus on more of high school development? Because that's essentially
Yes.
where Indiana is getting most of
Or
their talent. They didn't really dive into the portal much this year, didn't they?
okay. One thing. Um, it's combining the program development. I will say this is a huge win for program building and getting the right guys versus copycat recruiting, right? You know, that's my favorite word when we come to this stuff. It's a win against, oh, this guy's really highly rated, but like Surratt, okay, Surratt's a hell of a player. He has a brother that has NFL experience, right?
You
If
know where he came
Surratt,
from?
what?
St. Francis, a team that's
Yes.
just got demoted to D3 football. Did you see Garrett's
No, no, no,
post?
no. He came from SFA. He was a Biff Poggy kid. He he came from St. Francis, the high school.
No, he went to St. Francis in Pennsylvania, then transferred to JMU.
Yeah. Hold up.
What the hell are you talking about? Who came from SFA?
I thought he came from SFA too.
St.
Yeah.
Francis.
Oh,
He
he
went.
did come from
He,
SFA, then he played for St.
he
Francis
went to
in
St. Francis
Pennsylvania.
Academy. That I understood. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah, my fault, my fault. We were saying the same thing. We were speaking the same language, just but he
somewhat.
wasn't he was a Biff Poggy kid, and then he went to St. Francis in Pennsylvania, and then he went to JMU. But like it's just, you know, if he doesn't, if Kurt Signetti doesn't see him in the portal, what happens? What happens? And
Well,
also like Mendoza, everyone said Mendoza wasn't the best quarterback in the. I remember people shouting it from the rooftops. He's not fast. They said he can't throw the ball. They
which is
said now
stupid.
Cal Twitter was not. Don't accuse Cal Twitter of this. Cal Twitter was on it. Cal Twitter's been on it. But yeah.
Hey, remember when I don't know if you even remembered this, but
What?
in the summer, I said that Fernando Mendoza was the best quarterback in this draft.
I think he did. I think he did. I remember saying that there weren't any. I didn't believe in any of the ones that were supposedly the best, like Nussmeier and um Manning. Look at those guys, right?
I looked at the last 3 games and I said, what did you do in SEC play? What did you
Has
do when you're
Arch?
playing actually decent defenses? Look at what Nussmeier did last year. Didn't produce. Turned the
Yeah.
football over too much.
Has Arch declared?
No. If
He
he
should have.
declares for the NFL draft, he's stupid.
Oh, apparently he did. No, wait, no, he didn't.
No.
This is clutch points. Wait, no, did he?
There's no way. If he did, he's making a mistake. It's not going to happen.
Did he
Now
declare?
his star receiver Parker Livingstone is an Oklahoma Sooner now, but that's because that that's because Livingstone wanted more money from the portal or from the NIL, and he wasn't going to get any as a going into his second full year as a starter.
Apparently, supposedly, it has not. Okay. He officially is. Wait. Okay, well, we'll return to this. I'll ask one of my Texas guys. I don't think it's in mid-December. It said Texas quarterback will return to school to play in 2026. Finally, putting questions to rest. That's what ESPN reported. Who actually reported this? Andrea Edelson. But then a Yahoo article by Clutch Point said that a No, it says Texas star weapon, Jack Andre. Man, I hate news writing. I hate journalism. God. Why do we gotta include the young man's name? Include Jack Andrews' name. God. Okay, so apparently Arch is back for 2026. Yippee! Can't wait for him to be on the cover again. Who's your cover athlete next year? I think Rocco would be incredible. Rocco would be absolutely Rocco Becht in a Penn State uniform. Incredible.
Cover athlete for what?
The next college football game. It generationally bad to this point. They picked Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith.
Jeremiah Smith wasn't bad this past
Jeremiah
year.
Smith wasn't terrible, but Ryan Williams takes it down. And then they picked the kid that had a good game against Alabama, and then Michigan Robinson, whatever. Who was the Michigan kid on the first cover? And then Quinn Ewers, who didn't have a great year. And then who was the third one? We had Travis Hunter, I guess. But like Travis Hunter was like the easy one, right? So give me like
Dylan
Rocco
Edwards.
Becht. Give me like
Dylan
Rocco.
Edwards, I think.
Yeah. No, Donovan Edwards.
Donovan Edwards, that's it. I
Dolphins
thought
legend.
Donovan Edwards was going to be a special player, dude. I really had a lot of hope for Donovan Edwards.
Running
because
back.
I saw the last 3 games that he played, and I thought, okay, he's going to break out, and he gets
running backs are a dime a dozen. They're a dime a dozen. But yeah, baby, I'll see you soon. I need some. Hey, wait, hold up. Smile for the camera. Hold up. I gotta for the Snapchat. Smile, twin. He smiled, twin. Okay.
Where's my last?
Good night, gentlemen. He may have more for you, but I will be peaced out. Duval, baby. Watch the playoff game Sunday.
Can you tell other people to get into the chat too? Can you send the link out to others?
Which one?
This one.
Oh, I'll repost it. Yeah. Also, I realized I hadn't followed you back since you got your account back because I had.
You unfollowed me?
Well, yeah, because I thought it was a fake account now.
Oh. That's funny.
I didn't want the fake account to message me. Hold up.
Did I get thrown out of the old group chat too?
No. I didn't mess with that for the time being because I figured that you'd get it back. Like that. Okay. But yeah. We'll be watching the Jaguar game on Sunday, gentlemen. Bills fans, get the hell out of here. You know?
Bills fans, get the hell out of here, huh?
Hey, Alex already been chirping me. Alex, upstate New York guy, Syracuse guy.
Yes.
Big Bills guy.
Really?
I swear he's a Giants guy. But I think it's like there's a lot of like Giants, Bills guys, or like guys that root for the Jets or Giants, and they kind of like the Bills on the side because their
Right.
teams suck. Anyways, peace out, brethren.
Later, dude.
Also, when's your next one of these that you're gonna do?
Probably either tomorrow or Monday.
Okay, send me a text. I should be available. I'll say 50-50 on tomorrow, and I should be available Monday. And then if I'm not available tomorrow, 100% on Monday. I'll make it work.
Okay. I'll see you then.
Peace out.
Scout from Southern Sports, from Southern Charm, man. Nothing better than that, man. All right, let's talk, bro. But let's continue on with the rest of our tripping or spitting topics for tonight. I want to talk about number one. What's a good one? Tell you what. The next quarterback for Indiana next year is already pretty much set in stone. Josh Hoover is going to Indiana next year. What are expectations for him? Guys, I really do think he's going to continue the long line of elite quarterbacks that have come through there. Now, I'm not going to say that Josh Hoover is going to win the Heisman Trophy in 2026. He's not. That's my opinion. What I do think, though, of what is going to happen is that he is going to continue to develop as an elite quarterback and continue to grow as a quarterback. Do I think he's going to be a draft pick? Yes. 27 is going to be a great year for him. I think he'll end up in the 4th or 5th round, but what Mike Shanahan does to offenses is pretty much describes where this team is headed. You know, you look at where this offense is based off of, and it's a pro spread offense that is relying on spreading the football out, getting playmakers in space, and letting them work. It's what wins you football games at the end of the day. It's what's going to win you football games from here on out. I have a feeling that Indiana is going to be among. And if they win themselves a championship, they have, well, really, they solidify themselves already as the Georgias, the Ohio States, and the Oregons of the world. They're establishing themselves as a blue blood. And when you are a blue blood, you are consistent in the portal, you are consistent in rebuilding, and you are consistent with showing people why you are continuing to be a national championship contender. It's what's brought you here in the first place. It's what's going to continue to bring you in a better position to win and win and win over the course of a team, a program. It's going to continue. Nothing else better. All right. I'm going to wrap it up tonight, guys. It's been a great night. Appreciate all of you for tuning on in. It's been a very great day today. Got the account back up and running. We're going to do a film study of this game. We're going to do it sometime next week. We'll have a recording up. I'm going to post it on Twitter. It will be exclusively posted on Twitter because obviously YouTube is very deranged when it comes to what you put on there in regards to all 22 tape. So we can't post the stuff on there. But guys, thank you guys for hopping on into the Southern sports scene. We appreciate all of you for tuning on in. Do us a favor and hit the like, share, and subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell notification so that you are notified every time we go live, post a new video, or post a new short on the Southern sports scene. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay blessed. Don't stress. Y'all have a great rest of the night. Have a safe weekend. And we'll see you guys on either tomorrow or maybe Monday. See you. Peace.